I'm Jason Applebaum here with KTVU Fox 2 here in the Bay Area, and now we have the pleasure of being joined by Olympic gold medalist Kristi Yamaguchi, Bay Area resident. Kristi, thanks for being here.
Hi, great to join you. Thank you for having me.
So we've been asking everybody about how they're dealing with this now, and everybody's hunkered down in their homes. What's these past 3 weeks been like for you and your family?
Well, it's definitely an adjustment to a new normal, right? Especially knowing now that our daughters who are eighth grade and sophomore are not going back to school probably for the rest of the year. So it's trying to find, that daily routine, if you can actually try to find one with some schoolwork. And, I'm usually work from home anyway, so that's not too much different for me. But the running around after school with like different activities and their sports and things like that have changed. So, it's finding ways to fill up that time and to get other things done, which always get pushed to the side.
Right. So how much device time? That's the thing is like I have kids as well. And we kind of go between making a really strict schedule and then, okay, if you just take care of these few things, the rest of the time is on your own. How are you dealing with the kids?
It's a really tough one. I mean, I know we all try to manage that screen time with our kids, but it's hard because they're, and ours too, our only contact with the outside world is really virtual now. So, I've let them FaceTime their friends a lot more than normal. And, once in a while, the video games that usually only come out on the weekends are maybe played a little bit during the daytime. But as long as they're getting their schoolwork done and chores around the house, then it's hard to restrict it too much. But at the same time, I encourage them to get outside and do other stuff too.
Absolutely. Everyone's finding their own silver linings in all of this. And for some people, it's, less traffic when you go out on the streets or, just more family time and more really getting to know everybody that's close to you, more FaceTime. What are some of your silver linings throughout this whole process?
I think probably similar to everyone's. I mean, it's nice not to be commuting in the car so much. And definitely at family time. I mean, both my husband Brett and I travel a great deal more than I do. So having him hit home and, when he works for the San Jose Sharks, the games are in the evenings. So to actually have family dinners like multiple nights in a row is very rare. So it is really great family bonding time and just getting to know a little bit better the interests of your kids and kind of what keeps them busy. And yeah, I know our dog is really happy because he's just getting a ton of attention and maybe a little bit tired of the walks, but that's okay.
Yeah, the separation anxiety for the pets is coming, hopefully, I guess, sooner than later. But you mentioned your husband, Brett Hedigan, former professional hockey player, and with the hockey season cut short or put on hold, I'm sure he's probably chomping at the bit in some ways because he does some color and color broadcasting for the team. Is he now maybe at home trying to keep his skills crisp by, doing some color at home?
A little bit. I mean, I think they try to continue to engage the fans because everyone is missing the sports out there, right? I mean, I know I definitely do. So, they are doing like replays of like certain highlights of the Sharks franchise history. And, I know they did a feature on Joe Thornton and kind of all of his milestones throughout the years and what makes him so great. And so, the broadcasting team has been trying to be really creative and still, get out there and talk about things and engage the fans. But it's hard. It's, I think so many of the sports out there are not going to award their, annual champion of the season is really heartbreaking.
All right. And we're also asking folks how they're kind of, you're a former Olympic athlete, so I'm sure that you're keeping in shape, but it's got to be challenging not being able to go to the gym or do the things you normally do. You got any home workouts that you guys do to keep everyone kind of active?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, it's really the COVID-19 pounds, I think, that we're all worried about too, in addition. So I mean, I just try to get out and walk at least a couple miles a day, or, do some kind of online exercise video or something just to stay active. Brett does Kung Fu, and they actually
Oh,
have Zoom classes that they do. I don't know if it's daily, but several times a week. So trying to keep busy like that. Our girls, they're missing their sports activities. So trying to get outside and be active with them, whether they're practicing soccer or just getting some kind of a fitness. Our younger daughter skates, so like off ice exercises as well. So, I mean, I don't do those anymore, but I'll just try to get her to do.
it's definitely a challenge for everybody. With the recent news of the Olympics being postponed for a year, I want you to kind of you know get us take us through the mindset of somebody who prepares really your whole life for a moment. You have a date on a calendar. You make the Olympics. You're expecting to peak at a certain time, and then to have that pushed back a year or whenever it is. How do you deal with that as an athlete?
I think initially it's probably obviously devastating because I think as an athlete, your training and preparation is, almost to the day, to the week where you're trying to peak for that month of the Olympics. And, obviously this is a worldwide, um, you know, focus that everyone needs to stay safe, and it's the best. And I think, hearing a lot of the athletes talk, I think they are relieved because they know they haven't been able to train properly and really focus properly. That an elite athlete, I mean, you are definitely eating, breathing, drinking, sleeping, your training and your preparation and your recovery. And they haven't been able to do that this year. So I think in some ways, I've seen some great interviews where they're taking it in stride and they're like, hey, I'm going to mature another year. I'm going to, improve and gain strength and, get even better with this extra year. So I think that's a great, great attitude that so many of them have. And, I'm just hoping, I've heard that most of the governing bodies are allowing the athletes who have qualified to retain that qualification for next year. And then we'll see. I mean, there might be some surprise new faces, but you're really hoping that sorry you're really hoping that that those athletes will be able to continue and pursue and like nothing happened. We'll see.
Well, so I also want to ask you about you're doing an online story time with Scott Hamilton. And I know you're doing that, several times a week. Can you tell the folks who are watching about what that is and where they can find that?
Yes. So I have a foundation called the Always Dream Foundation that focuses on early literacy. And, one of my favorite things to do is story time with our students. And, when the schools were starting to shut down and knowing that moms were starting to struggle with moms and dads, were beginning to struggle with that routine at home and the at-home learning, I thought, well, why not give them a break and have a little story time with them? I started with my 3 books that I wrote several years ago, Dream Big Little Pig, It's a Big World, Little Pig, and Kara's Kindness. And then I wanted to move on and include some of my friends. So Scott Hamilton recently came out with his new book called Fritzy Finds a Hat, and benefits the cancer research and kind of really is a tribute to his mom, who he lost to breast cancer. But, just a way to continue to engage kids out there, especially with school being out, and finding a way to, keep them engaged with reading and with books. Our Always Dream reading program is very unique in that it's a at-home program. So fortunately, and the way it stayed relevant is that there's been no interruption with our program because of the closures of schools. So our kids are still accessing high quality books and receiving support and family engagement support through our program. So we're really excited and really proud that we're able to continue on like this. But it's tough out there. It's definitely a new normal for everyone.
And are there certain times that you guys are reading where people can go online and see you? And I imagine probably the viewership or is it audio or is it audio and video? It's a Zoom call, you say?
So I usually go on Facebook Live, and it's my athlete page, Kristi Yamaguchi, on Facebook. And I think the process is you have to like the page, and then you'll receive an alert when I go live, and then you can join the reading. So there is video, and I try to show the pictures and be as animated as I can, even though I'm just looking at a screen. But and sometimes I'll be able to take questions because they are able to post comments and everything, questions during the live reading. So just a way to connect with people and share some fun stories. I'll be doing the readings usually Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. And actually next week we have some special guests joining again, Paulina Edmonds, who is another Bay Area skating Olympian, and then Brooke Lee, who is Miss Universe from 1997. So they will both be joining me for some special readings.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we wish the best to you and your family. Be safe, and thank you for bringing some positivity to the Bay Area. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.